How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Alright Podcast. Remember, it's not the best podcast, but it's not the worst podcast. It's just an Alright Podcast. Guys, how's it going? This is episode 31. I'm here with Felix O'Connor. That's right, that with Stephen. I done an interview with Stephen last week, and I didn't know how to pronounce his second name. I was like, Stephen, welcome, Stephen. And he was just like, Stephen. And I was just like, I don't know your second name. And saying that with someone, like, it's like, Stevens, like, and he goes, Naughton. That's the way you can say it, Naughton, or Naughton. So I was like, right, I remember that. So, Naughton or Naughton. So I made sure that I knew your name, you know. And I looked up on...
It's not uncommon anyway, so... not common. Probably heard it before.
Yeah. So I have Felix on now. I have yourself on now because we were trying to get comedians on, and I wanted to look for more stand-up comedians because I'm only trying to get into stand-up myself, and I need some advice, you know. And for people out there, maybe that want to start stand-up as well, the likes of yourself could give them some tips or so. So if you want to even introduce yourself to the people out there and let them know who you are.
So I'm Felix. I've been doing stand-up comedy for about a little over a year now. I started kind of mid-January 2019. I was also like finishing up final year of college at the time, so I kind of first half of the year a bit slow. But I got into it. I figured out that it was something I was able to do, something I really enjoyed, and I've been writing and doing creative stuff forever. Like I used to do songwriting and music and stuff. Kind of less of that now because I didn't no official training or anything. I was like, I did some like slam poetry for a while, and that was cool. And I was dating a poet for a while as well, so I was kind of. We were pushing each other to write more, and that kind of broke off, and I fell off the wagon there. And stand-up comedy is the new thing, and I've stuck at it longer than anything else.
I'm a YouTuber. I've done YouTube for the past 4 years, so I do comedy sketches. That'd be my main thing. And I decided to give stand-up a go. I done it when I was about 18, and I done voices and impressions, and. It went good, but
what can you do?
I tried to do Christopher Walken. That went well. Some fellas said it was good. Mike Tyson, tried to do Eddie Murphy and stuff and all. People are saying it's good, just need to work on it a little bit. And I was like, right. So I kind of have something there. It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's tough because you really gotta there's there's a really cool series on YouTube. Actually, it's this it's on Wired, I think, and there's this guy who's like. He's like a dialect coach. He'll work with actors and stuff, and he'll teach them how to do here's how to do like a southern accent, or like from this specific area, or if someone's impersonating if someone's playing like a real historical figure from like in a movie or something, he'll coach them on that. And he's got a series of 4 or 5 videos he's got where he looks at loads of different performances and he talks about where things are going right, where things are going wrong. It's really cool. If you're interested in impressions, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I will. I like what's his name? Jay Ferrero, I think his name is, or something. I'm not know his name. He's a black guy. He's a black comedian, and he would sit in his room all day, and he would just go over these impressions. He can do Jay-Z, he can do Denzel Washington, he can do Eddie Murphy, he can do Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's pretty easy to impersonate. Now everybody kind of knows little boop bops, little things and all. So that I start watching him, and I start trying to do all that kind of stuff as well. And then when I was confident enough, I went out at 18 and I tried it, and I was like, but at 18 years of age I was just like, right, I'm not interested, I'm gonna go on the next thing. So I started. So going back to what we were talking about, I started about a month ago, and I started doing it, and I had like a Michael Jackson joke that I get all the jokes and you put it into a story. I'm like more of a storyteller. I'll do voices and storytelling, and I think that's what kind of gets the crowd. Because what kind of style would you be now when you're doing your stand-up?
I dip in and out. I mostly my better jokes are kind of storytelling, and they're longer kind of constructed stories, or like I've got a whole bit that I'll do about I'll tell the audience that I date ghosts, and I talk about dating ghosts, and it's there's kind of little one-liners in there, and I've written some one-liners as well, but I wouldn't call myself like a one-liner comic.
I think that's very hard to do.
It's so hard.
I tried to do it.
You see people on that and you're going, you're great, how do you do it? And they'll just come out and but I think it is just the practice of it, isn't it? Just keep going for
it's so much about kind of condensing it down with one-liner stuff. It's like the economy of language and about kind of like making the tightest joke that you can. Because it's all about that timing as well. So you gotta really get it snappy.
It could be a great joke, but the timing's off.
Exactly. Like, I'll do a lot of. I'm big on. Well, big. I'm not like. I've got like 2,000 followers on Twitter.
That's more than I have anyway.
But I'll do a lot of one-liner stuff that I do right. I'll put it on Twitter because I feel like it works better on Twitter than it does with like a longer set of mine. Because I like to kind of lead people down the garden path when I'm on stage because it makes it feel like it's more engaged with the audience. Because that's a massive. Like you probably know this yourself. Like it's a massive part of performing is really engaging the audience. And if you're doing like short sets, it's not as much kind of doing crowd work, but it's still like even if I'm doing 5 minutes, I like to have a little bit of just kind of like, oh, has anyone heard of this thing, and then go on into a story, so people still feel like they're being interacted with, like they're fully engaged, because like they're laughing, but they may not be like actually interacting.
When I find it hard, I'm at the stage now where I'll make up stories, but when you create jokes, would you kind of improvise them on stage when you guess them, or would you more like writing it down?
I do a little bit of both. Like if I come up with something and I'm like, oh, there's kind of a seed of a joke there, I'll put it. I have notebooks and stuff, but I am awful at remembering. I think I've got one in my bag now, but I'll take it out of my bag to like go on a night out or something, and then it'll be in my room under a pile of stuff, and I'm just like, I'll forget about it. So I usually use like my notes folder on my phone, because I always have my phone on me, and then I can go back through stuff there and just be like, oh, there's something there, and then I'll kind of, it'll just be like a soup of ideas, and I can kind of dip into it going, that might be, it's a little bit more salt, a little more spice, we'll see, and just like see what I can develop then. And if I haven't written any new material in a while, or if I'm kind of, if I feel like my current material is a little bit stagnant, I'll go back into that kind of notes folder and I'll scroll through it and be like, oh, this is something that I never really explored, or this is something I tried out once, got a decent response, but I thought it needed to kind of marinate a little bit longer. And I'll kind of go back to that. So I'll write stuff down in that capacity, but a lot of I've started doing some kind of MCing of gigs and stuff, like myself and Ali, who's meant to be on today.
She had something to do.
She's extremely busy. She's always grifting. But she and I, we run a comedy night that's on once a month. We're doing 4 shows this month, I think, or not this month, in March, coming up. But it's called Token Straight, so it's a queer comedy night. We have one Token Straight on every month, and but the two of us, we where was I going with this? Jesus, lost my train of thought entirely. No, fuck. Ali running. No, yeah. So MCing. So we'll like take it in turns to MC the night, which is kind of, you kind of get the crowd going. You do a lot more kind of crowd work and stuff than you would on like regular site. You'll do some of your material, and you'll kind of, but there's more opportunity, and you'll get up in between the acts, and you'll the kind of common wisdom with MCing as well is if you're bringing someone up and they absolutely blow the roof off the place, they're amazing, you just keep that momentum going. You just go like, and keep going for your next comic. Whereas if someone's like, a little bit weaker, a little bit newer, didn't quite get the crowd on side, you go up, do a couple of jokes, get the crowd back on side.
I noticed that when I was doing open mics now.
A few people would go up, and I remember I went to the KO Comedy Club. And it was the first time going. It was like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And it was run by this Australian guy. I forget his name. I think his name is Alan. Tarek. I'm so sorry. Right, he's not going to watch it probably, but I'm so sorry. Right, I'm really bad with names. I'm really bad with names. But he introduced me and he put me up on stage, and everybody was kind of like, I was on second last, and everybody was going, and everybody was just standing there and they were telling jokes. And it was good jokes, it was a good crowd atmosphere. But then the way my style is, I'll get up, I'll fucking kind of shout, I'll kind of fucking do faces, weird faces, fucking impressions, get me likes of that. The way you were doing it when you were more fucking energy out there to get me like that. So from going from people go, oh yeah, it was great and all, and I went up to my aunties and all, to how's it going, what's up, like they're just gonna be like, what the fuck, and they kind of have to adjust that. Yeah, so it's a different switch. I done for about a month and a half now. Yeah, I've done gigs every week, and it was mainly, my first one was the Maynooth live session, and they gave me a fella called John and Jonah gave me the opportunity to go up and do it, and I remember doing it, and it was great, and I had my first bad set, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get a bad set, I'll be grand. And when I went to this place, I'm invincible, right? I thought it was great, and I went, and it was a music night, and this fella, man, he looked like Axl Rose and all, and he were on the guitar, and they were just going mad, and he was death metal and everything, right? Next of all, the hyped up energy, everyone's like, yeah, right? A hyped up energy to people. Next of all, hi guys, so at halftime we have a comedian on, and then everybody just went, what? And I just went, no! And then I went on stage, I start doing me set, not one laugh. Usually what I do, now when I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, right? Yeah. But when I perform, I get laughs, right? I get laughs, and this, there was no laughter. The fella that booked me, John, he was laughing. Jonah was laughing. No one else was laughing, and everybody's face, cause the lights. Joe, when you notice, Joe, when you're on stage and the lights shine on you, and you can't see the crowd. I can do whatever I want. I don't care, because I think, right, no one can fucking see me, right? Yeah. There's no lights like that. So I'm seeing people as clear as I'm seeing you right now.
And they can see each other as well.
And they can see each other.
If they laugh and no one else is laughing, they feel like
they go, oh shit, that's not funny. Yeah. So no one laughed. And the more I went on with it, I just died. And then I went, fuck it, I'm just going to keep doing it. And I done it. And what I done, straight after the gig, I went, I got off the little stage, I went, grabbed my coat, and I walked to the door. And I got on the bus, sitting on the bus going, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not doing stand-up comedy anymore, and shit. But then I started thinking, hold on, I'd watch the likes of Tommy Tiernan, Lee Evans, Jim Carrey. They're all my kind of inspired people. Do you get me? Like that. And I'm there, and I'm watching Joe Rogan, his podcast, and he's watching Joey Diaz and stuff like that as well. And I'm watching them, and they're talking about the times they've bombed and they've done a material that, and it just clicked in my head that night. I goes, fuck, these people that look up to, man, bomb. Everybody bombs. You can't be perfect. If you are, there's something not right.
Exactly. No, like my actually funny story. My so Ali's kind of she's part of the reason that I started doing comedy. Actually, so, right. Like we met at I was chair of the LGBT society in college, and a friend of mine who had also been involved in the society. He was on committee for the comedy stock, and he hit me up. There'd been a bunch of stuff in the news about Tanzania at the time.
Right. Could you what Tanzania? Could you explain that a bit more to myself? Because I'm a bit.
Oh no, just there'd been a bunch of stuff in the news about how like they were really cracking down on the LGBT community and stuff. They were locking people up. They were putting people through like
which is bloody mental. Which is
And so we were he hit me up, he was like, hey, would you guys be interested in collaborating with the Comedy Society and putting on a gig with like queer comedians and raising money for some like a Tanzanian LGBT group or something? And we were like, yeah, that'd be amazing, we'd love to do that. And because I've been wanting to get involved in comedy for ages as well, and I was just like, I just don't really have any aid. I don't know where to start. And so like we were, so we put on the gig, went really well, and Ali was one of the comics who was on. And afterwards, I like helped bring all the equipment back up to the room and stuff, and I was hanging out with Ali and with all the other comics and with Ali, and I was chatting to them, and I make some joke because I'm one of those people where like if I know there are funny people around, I'm like I gotta impress them.
You have to, don't you? I got that as well. If I make these people laugh, I'm in with the group.
So I make some joke, and Ali's a trans woman, I'm a trans man, and I make some joke. And then I kind of I turn to her and I go, oh, no, it's okay for me to make that joke because I'm trans. You know, and that's most of how and why I come out to people like all the time. It's because I'm like, I don't make these fucking jokes and I know they're funny. So, but you need the context for it first. And she was like, oh, right, come here to me. And she was like, have you ever thought about doing comedy? Because there were like very few trans comics in the scene at the time. And she was like, have you ever thought about doing comedy because you're funny? And I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
Funny, maybe. Yeah. And she was like, right, I'll add you into this Facebook group. There's X, Y, and Z open mics. You should come along. And so she kind of took me under her wing. She was doing like a bit of a mentor thing, and we still kind of have that relationship. Like she's very much, she's like teaching me things about like the scene and everything. She knows loads of people and I don't. So
yeah. She's doing it over a year, isn't she? Almost 2 years now.
She's
is
like
she?
a year and a half
in a year and a half though. Look, I remember going to the first one, and it was the first comedy night in Maynooth. I've done the first one was a music, it went well, and then the second one was a comedy night, so it was all comedians. So I was sitting in the corner going, as you were saying, I need to make these laugh. And I remember they were all sitting down the back, and this little fella that they don't know came up, start doing me stuff, and I can see on their faces they were like loving it, laughing, loving it. And I was just like, oh my god, it's great. And then I remember just sitting there. But before every show, what happens to me is that I sit in the corner, I start going, oh, gee, like that, right? And then out of nowhere, don't know what it is, like a demon or something comes out of me, right? It's like next on the stage, Anthony, next one, boom, just in there. It's like Beyonce when she has that, Beyonce has that inner woman, what she says, I don't know what her name is, but I have one of them, I'm calling her Shaniqua or something, because I just come out and I just go up on stage, and I for myself, I know that it's I do well. Do you get me? Yeah. So when I came off stage, Ali came up to me and goes, really good, really, really good, that's really well. And for a few people come up to me, like Ali, John O'Keefe, Stephen Norton, what's his name, Connor Diskin, I think his name is. Yeah. All them. And Stephen actually gave me a gig up in Navan that I done last Friday.
Oh, nice.
And well, probably the Friday after, because we coming up 2 weeks or so, you know. On Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, and they were all there. So the fact they were all there was great.
Yeah.
And Ali is real. She's real positive. I haven't talked to her that much, but what I know from talking to her, she's real positive, and she's real freaking life, isn't it? It's just full of life, like you can see it. I follow her on Instagram and everything and all, because I think she's really good, like, you know.
She's amazing.
If the likes of that, yeah. So I think a lot of them, if it wasn't for them at the start, kind of giving me all them tips and kind of giving me all this, oh, here's a gig, here's this is what you should do, I don't think I think I would have given up on all by now, because I would have been like,
literally,
yeah.
Like, because I think one of the things that's really one of the things that's kept me in comedy and kept me kind of doing it is the community aspect. Because a lot of like other than the kind of other artistic stuff that I'm interested in doing, like I finished a film degree. I want to make films and stuff, and like writing and that kind of thing. But the part of the issue with like the film and TV kind of industry is it's so cutthroat and so competitive that like it's tough to kind of build a community around yourself. Like I've got people that I've studied with and people who I know are really talented, and I've worked with them before on like student stuff, and so they're sort of a community, but a lot of them are not. It's tough to do anything with a film degree, so a lot of people are, you know, branching out to doing like, oh, I want to do TEFL, or I want to travel, or I want to just kind of suss out my own things, but film maybe not what I'm looking to do. And so, but when it comes to comedy, like there's such because it's such like an individual kind of art form, it's almost surprising that there's this massive community of people who are generally like super supportive of each other as well. That like, you know, you got people setting up open mics, setting up different shows and that kind of thing, giving each other kind of slots and stuff. And like, hey, I saw your stuff. Like, I'd love to have you do a 5 at my show or whatever. And like, even if it's not a paid gig or anything, because a lot of the gigs.
The first one they're starting out.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
it's like I'm a year in, and I'm still really just like working for free, and that's. I mean, it's honing my skills, and it's great to be in front of a crowd and everything. It's great to be kind of getting out there and seeing other people and meeting people, seeing loads of comedy.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
It's so valuable. But like like the community aspect is so important, I feel like.
When you were saying something about you were interested in film, I just recently put an interview in for doing cinematography, because I make films myself, and we have a film that
with your YouTube.
So we have a film out now called The Lotto Ticket that just came out from our time now. It's just Friday gone. Do you get me? I have a crew, and we're making another film now. So I didn't know you were interested in film. So if you ever, I'm not just saying this for camera reasons and stuff like that as well, for the likes of that. But if anything happens there, we'll just continue with that anyway. So if you're ever interested and want to come on board and help us with films or so like that as well, you know, as I said, I'm not doing this just for camera, so I'm being genuinely interested. As you said, with comedians, they help each other out. I think with anybody that wants to do film or so like that. And would it be more script writing you're mad into, or would it be more kind of camera work or acting? Or acting or so like that as well. Sorry. Yeah.
I've done a little bit of. I'm not much of a techie person personally. Like I'm more on the kind of writing side of things, directing, that kind of thing. I've done a bit of editing actually. I've got a podcast myself.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing when I get home today. Actually,
Right.
is I'm finishing up editing an episode. It's about films. It's called Not Trans Movies.
Not trans movies.
I talk to other trans people about movies that aren't trans, but we argue about why they are. Yeah, all right. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's a premise. Listen, because there's 1,000,001 film podcasts. I feel like, and you need kind of, unless you're, I don't know, someone like what's his name, Mark Kermode, or someone with a big like radio show, Radio 4 thing. Unless you've got like a big name and you're respected, you gotta have a gimmick.
Yeah, but that's for the likes of that though, that's its own thing. Have you seen someone out there do that kind of style? So you go, you create, you made your own style. Yeah. Do you get me? So you made your own style. Just in case of anything here, if you see that going off, just let us know. Boom, straight away. Because I don't know if we lost anything, but if we haven't, I'll just move it to that one. We'll still hear your voice and stuff like that as well, right? I'm still trying to suss everything out on this. So we have 6 minutes left before the half time of this and stuff like that. I think the podcast has gone well so far. For the likes of that.
I'm enjoying this chat.
But yeah, for the likes of you were saying earlier that you support LGBT.
Yes.
And I went on your Instagram and stuff like that, and I seen that you've done a lot, and I seen the token stuff as well. Do you want to talk more about that and that night and that event? Kind of promote it, kind of, if you want, and let us know what it's like.
Yeah. So the kind of. So I started out, myself and Ali were looking to. We'd done a couple of events already. So we had. We did a night in March of last year in the Crowbar. It was that's where there's a show called Comedy Gold. They used to be on there. It's moved to I think Farrier and Draper now.
Oh, yeah.
It's now on a Thursday night instead of Friday night. I'm actually doing a slot there on Thursday night.
Right.
Coming, but this will be out.
Sorry.
Never mind. What is time? But we did a show there. We were talking to the woman who owns it. About doing an all trans and gender non-conforming comics kind of lineup, because it was myself and Ali were doing it, and then our friend MJ as well, who's non-binary, is an extremely talented comic. A couple of other people from like around the country, people from the north and stuff. Neil Farrell, who's this amazing like musical comic. And so we had like 6 or 7 of us on. We did that went really well, and from that we started kind of. I think Ali interviewed in GCN about that. It's Gay Community News. It's like a.
So getting it out there.
Getting it out there, and then after that, so a friend of mine who was consulting for Twitter at the time, they went along and they brought a friend of theirs who. I think they'd stopped working for Twitter, but their friend their friend had stopped working for Twitter, or was like leaving, but they were talking about, they were planning stuff to do for Pride, and apparently for like the last 3 years they'd done like drag queen bingo, so they had a drag queen come in, they'd done bingo, but I think the way they described it was like after 3 years of drag bingo, like it just becomes regular bingo. It's kind of become desensitized to it. And so they were like brainstorming kind of new ideas for something to do for Pride, like on the Friday before the weekend. Because they've got like a big, they've got kind of a subcommittee there for the LGBT kind of workers and stuff in the company, and they want to put on like nice events for Pride and everything. And so this guy Rob was like, oh well, what about comedy night? What about some stand up? And they were kind of like, oh wow, yeah. I mean, what gave you that idea? And he was like, oh well, I went to a show that was all all queer comedians a little while ago, and it was really good. I had a really good night, and they were kind of like, oh yeah, that'd be amazing. Can you get in touch with someone who was involved in that? And so he knew my friend, and my friend knew me. So he got in touch with me over Twitter because of course.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was like, hey, would you be interested in doing this, putting together a show? And I was like, yeah, amazing, because I like as well as the trans and GNC comedians that I'd done that show with. I was also I'd met a fair few other like lesbian, gay, bisexual comedians as well. And so I was like, I was just like hitting up a bunch of my friends, being like,
oh yeah,
want to do a corporate gig?
Yeah,
we'll get paid.
The minute the money comes in, you go straight to it.
And so we did that, and that went really well. I did some personalized jokes about Twitter arresting me for my bad tweets.
It actually.
No.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Jokes.
Jokes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I was half expecting to like walk into an empty room, get hit in the back of the head, wake up tied to a chair.
Going,
this is fun, if I can get away with it. Not, it's not the case. But that went really well. And then from there, we did like another couple of we just kind of had people kind of coming, like myself and Ali had a lot of people kind of coming up to us being like, do you want to do this? Like, you're the person to go to for like LGBT comedy stuff. And we were like, there's something here. Like, we should, because there were at the time, there were no queer, like, all comedy shows. Like, there were a fair few open mics that would have, like, have drag performers and stuff, or there was a couple of shows that people like in NCAD were running and that kind of thing. And there's a drag queen called Evoca Reaction. Ren Dennehy's their name. They run I think it's monthly or every couple of weeks. It's called Evoca Reaction's Big Dirty Queer Cabaret. And so that's it's cabaret, so it's got like, you've got drag acts, you've got dancing, you've got singing, you've got all kinds of stuff, and sometimes there'll be a bit of comedy as well, like myself and some of the other folks will do that if we're around, if we're available.
A friend of mine, sorry for cutting you off.
Oh yeah.
A friend of mine, her name is Sarah. She's probably watching this podcast now. She's hi. She does makeup, and a few weeks ago she needed to make up for a drag queen. So I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. I have no problem, right? So I went there, and I remember she done the whole thing, and she put the blonde wig over me. And I remember looking at myself going, I look better as a woman than I do as a man, right? I was literally saying that, right? And I remember she done it, and some fellas would look at that, like their girlfriends would test makeup on them or something like that, and they look and go, oh, take that off. But with me, I didn't care. I was just like, yes. I just loved it, right?
You're really sad.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with my sexuality, right? If you got to know me, I'm a very camp man, right? And what happened was that I thought I was only going to get makeup on and do it, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. Next of all the photography students came in. I was like, do you know what, grand, whatever, I don't mind. Then they were like,
this far.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, from this far you can do it anyway, right?
Back now.
Yeah. And they goes, right, so this is, I'm going to continue now, I just have to turn it off and restart them, right? Right, so we're back with it. So anyway, what I was saying is that all the photography students came in, and that they needed someone to do a photo shoot. Well, when they picked me, usually blokes would be like, usually people, I'm not doing that, no bloody way. I was like, yes, walk on, big green screen. They were like, do a power. I was going on. I was like, I was doing it. Like, yeah, they goes, give me blue steel. I was doing it. Like, I didn't mind. Like, and I think today as well, there's a lot of, especially when I was growing up as well. I'm 24 years of age, and so especially when I was growing up in school, the word that you said that I don't mean to offend. If I'm saying queer or anything like that, if I am, just let me know and I'll stop. Right? People would use that words for the slag in school.
Yeah.
And the fact that yous are putting that name into something yous are doing, it's kind of like a big fuck you to everybody that used it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Like, I
when you said that, I loved it. I was like, you are fucking saying fuck yous.
Queer as fuck.
Yeah. If you're gonna say we're gonna take that word back and we're gonna make it our own, and that's what I like when you said that there in my head. I just went, I like that. That's what I like. So I just wanted to say that to you as well. Do you get me?
It's such a key kind of. It's funny you bring that up. Actually, there's a really kind of pivotal essay from like from the early 90s. Like I think it was during the kind of AIDS crisis and stuff from over in the States. There was this. I think it was like a manifesto or like a pamphlet that was printed. It was called "Queers Read This," and one of the kind of most iconic lines from it was, "I'm not gay as in happy, I'm queer as in fuck you." And it's become kind of, because like there's some kind of controversy around like queer being reclaimed as a term. It's kind of like it's similar in some ways to how like black people in the black community have reclaimed like the N-word and stuff, and they'll use it like within their community to kind of like as a term of endearment almost, and as like a solidarity thing. Whereas like within the queer community, it's still like some people still aren't comfortable with it because it's very personal to them and their own kind of trauma and stuff. But I feel like I'm very much an advocate for like if we're using it, if we're taking it back, it's anti-shame. And it takes that power away from people.
It does. Yeah. If someone says it to you, you say, I know. I know.
Exactly.
So what?
Yeah. I'm a faggot. What else you got?
Because then skill growing up, man.
That's what we'd all get told, like Joe, for playing football, and you don't do something or you don't interact in the boys playing football or anything like that. I'd be walking around school on my own. I have this story, right? I'm just gonna say it real quick. I was bullied in school, right? So I wouldn't really be interactive, right? And I'd used to walk around the schoolyard, and basically what happened is that my friend Ross, he was really good at playing football, but the guys on used to call me gay and queer and stuff like that as well, right? And I goes, I don't care, really don't care, just push it away, right? And so basically what happened is that one day I got my chance to play football. And my friend was like, I'll take it easy. I goes, yeah, no problem. And I got in goal. And he was known as like Eddie Rockets, that's what his name, because when he kicks the ball, you're not saving it. Like he was real powerful at kicking the ball. So he was my only friend in the school, and he made me get in with the lads. So I was like, oh, lovely. And then I started saving all the shots and their shots, and they were like, oh, go on. And I was forced getting that. But then when it came to the last, it was like 9-9. And it was last last goal wins before the break cuts off. And what happened is that Ross came up with the ball, went through 3 or 4 people and kicked the ball. And the lads that slagged me, I caught the ball in my stomach, looked down, and the lads were like, go on, Anto. And I was like, finally, I won't be called gay, right? Not that I had a problem. Like back then, it was just a joke for me. I was like, I'll go gay. I looked up, Ross is in mid-air with his legs out like Bruce Lee, and he kicks me. I go back, so it's a goal. So I'm trying to work that into a kind of a joke for a story to get me, but. After that, it was like, fuck him, back to his own thing, and then I get called all names again. But for that one moment, do you get me? I felt fucking lovely about it. But then as you grow up and you realise, as you leave, you realise you mature more. You get me? All them lads now, I'd see them around and they'd say hello to me, they'd be nice to me. It's just as a kid, you don't know what you're saying. I remember I watched Norbit. Did you ever watch Norbit? Yeah. I was 8 or 9. I was 8 or 9. Me and my friend Ross went up to the chipper, and we went in, and I went to order something. It was like a 3-in-1 or something, and there was a girl behind the counter, and I heard one going, you chasing the dragon, right? So I didn't know what that meant. So I went up to her and I goes, you chasing the dragon? But this girl was an ex-addict, and I didn't know. Oh shit. So that's what I'm saying. As a kid, I didn't. And she said, "What the fuck did you say to me?" And I was like, "Are you chasing the ack freak? He does all this kind of." And she went, "Get the fuck out!" And my face just dropped. And I know for a fact in that time, like that moment there, I went, "Oh shit, I should really think." And I can see that hurting that person. So ever since then, from 8 or 9, I knew. Don't be saying that stuff.
It's a good lesson to learn.
I think most people have to go through something like that in order to realise. Do you get me? Some people would kind of have common sense and go, right, that with me, I wouldn't. I'd learn from mistakes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what me. That'd be like me. Do you get me? So from there on, I knew not to say these kind of words and the kind of hateful words. And if there was a gay guy in the group or so, I'd come over and make sure, oh hey, how's it going and stuff like that. Anybody kind of slags him, I'd be like, hey, shut your fucking mouth. Do you get me? Yeah. But he was out. Yeah, I remember we had a guy in the group, and he was a gay guy, and he came over, and kind of the boys were kind of slagging him. And they were saying like, watch out, put your backs against the wall and all, like an Alan Carr joke and stuff. And I go, shut your mouth, right? And then he came up and goes, the state of all yous anyway. Yeah, did you get me? Like I went, I fucking love you, man. The positive and the energy, I love it. I fucking love it. You're not shying away from it. You're fucking presenting, and that's what I was saying. I love it that people, gay people, they celebrate a lot of things. You celebrate a lot of things. So it's literally anything that comes out, you celebrate. And I fucking love that you just have a big celebration for us. Like, oh, we fucking happy Valentine's Day. That's the only thing that we fucking have that we come out. That's straight pride. Valentine's Day. Like, it's for anyone. Yeah. But for us, it's like, that's our thing. But anything comes out, a new album from fucking, Sam Smith or something comes out, you get me, and it's just like, yes, we're doing it, and it's fucking great. Like, you get me, I love that you celebrate. You get me, onto the third night going with it, and I love it.
It's so good, yeah.
That's something I would support. I do support.
Like that. In terms of comedy as well, like there's such a rich kind of history of like queer comics as well. Like, or even within the drag community, especially, and within like. Have you ever seen Pose at all?
I haven't.
No. So Pose it's a TV show. It's written by Ryan Murphy, he did like Glee, he did like Scream Queens and all that kind of stuff. But it's about the Harlem Ball scene in New York, like in the like mid '80s to like kind of mid to late '80s, basically. And it was like this scene, and it was like all these really poor. A lot of them were homeless or had been homeless, like LGBT young people, and then kind of older. A lot of them were also like black and Latina, and like or Latino or Latinx even, because there were a lot of trans people in the community as well. And it's this massive community of people who like they've got nothing. Like, and there was a very famous documentary made about it called Paris is Burning. It's all available on YouTube, actually. It's really good. But in the documentary they talk about shade and throwing shade, and a lot of people will be familiar with the concept of shade from like RuPaul's Drag Race and from gay Twitter and stuff, you know. But like this idea of throwing shade is like it's a way to kind of put people down within your community but also kind of making it like without really burning any bridges. It's a way to kind of be. It's cattiness and it's bitchiness sort of. It's also like it's showcasing cleverness and slyness at the same time. So like if you're throwing shade, if you're it's like a backhanded compliment. You're being like, oh, I love your dress for a skinny, you know, I've never seen a girl as skinny as you, or something like that, or something like that, where it's just like, it's really kind of, it's cutting and it's bitchy. I love it. So it's ruthless, but it's like, it's such a, and a lot of it's as well, like, it's kind of there's a lot of self-deprecating humor in the queer community as well, like a lot of, there's I can't remember who I was watching recently, there's, a gay comic, and he was talking about like a sex experience that had just gone wrong. And it was so like, it was filthy. It was absolutely filthy, and like just like extremely gross as well. But it's just like taking this weird experience that like a lot of people wouldn't be familiar with, will never probably experience, and just like take.
Yeah, sorry. So I seen when we started this podcast, we were kind of like, we'll have a normal conversation. But I can see as it goes on, we're getting more into it. Yeah. And we're getting it. And you're kind of showing it. I can see that you're more confident now with it, you know, for the likes of that.
Earned my trust.
Good. Hey. That's what you want. If you're getting someone on the podcast you've never met, and this is a weird time to meet someone first. Isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Like there for the whole world to see, and you don't really want to like. And
it's all recorded.
It'll be down as history. If I ever delete it, it'll still be there in the internet, roaming around somewhere.
Floating in the ether.
Yeah, you get me. So exactly. So I asked a few people on Instagram. I said a comedian's coming on. Stand-up comedians coming on, and I had it on the phone, but the phone's there now, so I remember some of them. So I'm just going to ask some questions for Instagram, and just if you feel comfortable, you can talk, right? So this right here is questions from Instagram. There you go, right? That's just a little thing that pops up, right? So someone said, I can't remember the name, but he said that what got you into stand-up comedy?
I feel like I've kind of gone over what like physically got me into stand-up comedy, but like I've been a fan of comedy since I was 13. Like I remember, like my parents, bless them. I'm the oldest of four, and we moved. Like I was born in the UK. We moved over when I was about 4 or 5. And so they were very, very protective of me, like as their kind of oldest as well. So they were like, oh, you know. I was also like, I was an awkward kid, just kind of didn't have that many friends growing up, that kind of thing. But
I'm just saying to myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, look at us now, man.
We're doing well. Look at us now. It's fine. But yeah, no, but I remember like. And like my protective parents, like they had the kind of family computer like in the kind of corner of the kitchen, so like they could always see what someone was watching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like I'd be petrified to like watch movies and stuff in case something came up or anything. So I something that I found out was pretty safe was like YouTube videos of stand-up comedy specifically, because like they're not really getting up to much. You know, they're walking around stage, getting microphone. They don't know. My parents can't tell what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and so I got big into that. I'm big into like Mock the Week and stuff. So love it. And like they got there's all these kind of there's loads of clips on YouTube of their like scenes we'd like to see bits where you've got, you know, the kind of quick fire round, people are coming up. Hugh Dennis, I think, is an absolute genius. So funny. Ed Byrne as well. Like, there's just so much. Dara Ryan as well.
Yeah,
such a big fan of his.
What do you think of, sorry for cutting you off.
Oh yeah, no worries.
What do you think of Frankie Boyle?
Frankie Boyle, I think, is great. I think he pushes the envelope, but I think he knows how to do it. Like, I'm not super kind of edgy with my comedy. I've got one joke that's a little bit like, I'll do a joke about Sonic being a Muslim, and that like you can tell because like that's maybe my only kind of edgy sounding joke. Yeah. And I can feel the audience go like, as soon as I say, no. So like, well, I tell it. So it's kind of a one-liner, because I'll talk about like I'll talk a little bit about like finishing a film degree, being like, oh, do we have any kind of appreciators of cinema in the audience? Does anyone like movies? And they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm kind of like, oh yeah. So you know, I like to keep on top of all of the art house stuff that's coming out. So I've been following all the trailers for Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously. I wrote it when the first kind of trailer came out, so it's still buzz. And then they released another trailer, so I was like, great, I can bring that joke back out. And now the movie's out. I haven't seen it, but I'm milking this joke. It won't be relevant again. No, but I was like, yeah, you know, so I've been following Sonic the Hedgehog. Fascinating movie, can't wait for it to come out. You know, I never knew that Sonic was Muslim. Everyone goes,
what?
Yes. What's going on with this? And I was like, yeah. No, so the first kind of teaser trailer started coming out during Ramadan, which is true. Actually, like a friend of mine's Muslim, and he was talking about like fasting and stuff. He's also a comedian. His name is Altamesh. But he was, but I was like, oh yeah, you know, the first trailer came out during Ramadan, which really, when you think about it, makes a lot of sense because Sonic's catchphrase has got to go fast. Groans. And then I usually kind of tag on at the end that I tried to challenge myself to write the least edgy joke about Islam. It's just a shitty pun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Frankie Boyle's amazing though. Like I've seen, I don't know, you see a lot of these kind of white guy comedians who are like pushing the envelope and stuff, and a lot of them will, like I used to be a big Ricky Gervais fan, and he's been just super shitty to trans people for the last like ages, and I'm like, it just like, because I liked him so much when I was like a 13-year-old like asshole atheist kid. Like I don't know if you went through like any of that kind of stuff, but I was just like, oh fuck you, mom, dad, I'm gonna go mass.
Every single one of us.
Every single one of us.
I said to my friend James the other day, we've all been
that kid. But I remember like Ricky Gervais just had all this shit where he was bragging on religion and stuff, and I was like, yeah, you tell him, Ricky. I'm smart because you're smart. You're saying the things that I'm. And really, he's just a very juvenile person. And I'm like, yeah, of course I liked his comedy when I was 14. But I mean, thankfully, like in that same kind of phase, I started watching a lot of George Carlin. as well, because he's got a lot of religious material as well. He talks a lot about.
I wouldn't be familiar now with that film.
Oh, he's been dead for about 15 years now, but pouring out the real ones. But no, he's an incredible comic. Like he's got big ideas. He's real kind of New York guy. He does a lot of kind of voices, faces, very expressive and stuff. But he talks a lot about religion. Talks a lot about life and the universe and kind of the absurdity of living in general. Really, really recommend. He used to have a lot of his specials on Netflix, and they got rid of them because I'm sure some big studio bought them up and was like, we're actually releasing our own streaming service, so no more George Carlin for you, Felix O'Connor specifically. Got me, they know.
In the description is said your name.
Yeah. Fuck you, Felix O'Connor in particular. You'll never see any more comedy, and go fuck yourself. So like, and Eddie Izzard as well, who does some amazing and he's a lot of his specials he's cross-dressing as well. Yeah. I think he identifies as trans, but I'm not. I think he still uses he/him pronouns. I know. He was in the news a while ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a transgender guy," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not." I mean, the term transgender guy generally is like, that's what I am, but you'd be more trans femme, I suppose. But I'm like, I don't know how he identifies specifically. So I'm like, yeah, go you. But but he had like a whole bit where he talked about being like the male equivalent of like a tomboy, and being like, this is how I like to. These are the clothes that I like to wear. This is how I like to dress, and that doesn't mean that I'm gay. It doesn't mean necessarily that I'm, it doesn't necessarily have to say anything about me at all. It just means I like this, and I'm going to do this, and they're not women's clothes, they're my clothes. I love them. And it's just so funny. And he's got like. Are you familiar with Eddie Izzard at all? Have you seen?
No, the only thing I know is that he on Joe Rogan. That's the only thing I know. I know that I think he's doing it now at the moment. He's doing 30 marathons in 30 days.
Yeah,
30 different countries.
Yeah, no, he speaks a bunch of different languages. I know he's like fluent. He's done full shows in French. He's done, I think he's done German as well, English obviously. Just absolutely a renaissance figure, honestly, like just jack of every trade. But if you're gonna watch any of the stand-up, like he's got an amazing bit about Star Wars and the Death Star. Yeah. And I think it's called Death Star Canteen, and he does all the voices as well. He's like, oh, your lack of tater tots is no, that's from fucking Alex Film or something. But he's talking about like, he's Darth Vader like queuing up in the cafeteria behind one of the stormtroopers, and one of the stormtroopers is like, I need the boss, and he's like, yes, maybe. Are you going to take I see they're almost run out of soup. Are you getting the soup? it's just absolutely, it's so, I'm not doing it justice here, but it's so funny, and like I fell in love with comedy through like his stuff, and through George Carlin, and through all the a lot of the amazing kind of this is still an answer from Instagram. I feel like I've really
the better. The more
sorry to anyone else who asked any questions. We're not getting to it. That's how we got into comedy, as in like fell in love with comedy, and then for years I was like, I probably wouldn't be able to do it because my memory's shit.
My memory is bloody.
It's awful. But when you've written the material yourself, and when it's personal to you, and when you're also like you're leaving yourself a bit of wiggle room to kind of improvise a bit as well and figure out what works on stage as well. It's not so much a memory thing, it's more like a feeling based kind of thing as well. It's like you're telling a story to a friend, really. Yeah. You're embellishing here and you're exaggerating here and you're leaving a bit out where you were a dickhead.
Yeah.
Unless that's funnier, in which you keep that in, you exaggerate that.
I was told by Connor Diskin when we done the gig in Nav, and he goes, my man and dad would watch comedians and stuff and all. They're older kind of couple, like, and he goes that they really like it. They thought it was really good, and that he said to me, your thing would be storytelling. I goes, yeah, and he goes, your voice person. I goes, yeah, and he goes, the way you're talking to people, it's like there's a group of friends around you and you're just talking to your friends. He goes, you need to keep that. You need to keep doing it. And when you said that just popped into my head there, so that's why I told you for likes of that. But yeah, so we talked. That's the first question. We mostly everything you talked about, them questions kind of added up, and there's no point to asking the same thing to go over the same thing. So I want to ask you a question as well. Who do you think is, in your own opinion, who would be your favourite stand-up comedian right now that is not doing like a professional? Who would be your inspiration, kind of, like, you know?
Oh,
I know, kind of a tough one.
That's a tough one. I got loads of people that I like for different reasons.
Yeah. Is anyone that you're watching now in particular more than anyone else?
There's a show coming out actually. There's a comedian called Mae Martin. She's bisexual. She's Canadian. She used to do this podcast called Grown Up Land that I used to listen to, and then she left the podcast, and I'm not sure why. But I probably could do her show. Honestly, it's like a Netflix show. I need to look up what it's called. Actually, it comes out on like the 19th of March. If you look up Mae Martin, that's M-A-E, not M-A-Y, M-A-E Martin, and she's just fantastic. Like, she's been doing stand-up, I think she's late 20s or early 30s now. She's been doing stand-up since she was like 16 years old. Jesus. Like, she used to do some more kind of musical comedy stuff. She's kind of stopped doing that quite as much. She's got I remember from, like, she's been on my kind of periphery for ages. But I remember on YouTube I saw one of her songs, and it's about, like, she's working in an office, and it's her birthday, and she's talking about, like, her office mates, they got her a cupcake and they put a candle in it. She's like, a cupcake is not a cake, it's not the same thing, it's only 1/5 of the size. And she's very clever, very funny. And then the show is coming out, which is like I think it's kind of billed as like a tragic comedy, because, like, her own life, she's struggled with addiction a lot, and so I think a lot of the show is about, like, being a former addict, or being an addict. I guess you don't really stop being an addict. And it looks amazing. I can't wait for it to come out. And also it's very kind of autobiographical, it seems. So I'm keeping an eye on her. I think she's amazing. Cameron Esposito as well. She's American comedian. I have to watch She's
more.
fantastic.
Because I just stick to the group, and that's it. I need to expand more. I feel like I need, now, after hearing these names now.
Eddie Izzard.
I'm definitely going to.
Eddie Izzard is fantastic.
That's Star
and George Carlin as well. Like, I think if I was going to give people advice about, like, old school comedy, like old school comedians to, like, learn about kind of the history of comedy from, like, George Carlin 100%. I think a lot of, and Bill Bailey as well, or not Bill Burr. Bill Bailey is also great.
So
I sometimes listen to the podcast, the Monday podcast. He does a thing on AMC, I think, or ATL. I don't know what it's called. It's on YouTube. But he does a podcast with Bert Kreischer and stuff and all, and he's in that group of friends that I like watching. All the Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub, and that's all my kind of crew that I'd like to watch. And then Peter Kay I love.
Nice.
Do you kind of
I've seen a lot of his like Red Nose Day kind of stuff. I don't think I've seen as much of his stand-up.
I went to a charity shop. I'm starting to go into charity shops now, and I need to get out of them. I need to get out of them. I need to get out of them because I bought a painting. It's of 4 daffodils. I put it up. The light bulb in my bathroom is kind of screwed in, so there's no way it fell out. It fell out and it smashed it off the ground. So me thinking, Jesus, this thing is course some old fella is in my house. So I grabbed that and I gave it to my dad. My dad's out there now as no, my dad thinks he's a ghost whisperer, right? He thinks that all the ghosts can come in and he can go, I'll comfort them. And he says, nothing's happened in this house, but nothing's happened in my house ever since either. But it's just that kind of thought, you get me? It's just that kind of thought. But yeah, it's mad. It's mad. Felix, that. I do have to cut it short because we have a minute and a half left. We have done it for basically an hour now, and I'm going to tell you honestly, this does not feel like an hour.
It doesn't know, flew
to me, it probably feels about a half an hour, 25 minutes, half an hour. It feels like, and that's what I want. I want guests like yourself that come in and they're interesting and they have something to talk about. I don't want my friend to come in and say, "Oh, I see that thing last night." I don't, and they have nothing to say. I want all these comedians you're mentioning. I want to know more about this. You saying that you're trans as well. I didn't get into that. I want you on the podcast next time. I like for if you down the road, if you want to come back and say that, I want you. I want to learn more about that. I don't know about it, so I want to learn more. That's what this podcast is about, educating myself as well and stuff like that as well, you know, and to have fun while we're doing it. So thanks very much for coming on, Felix.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Had a great time.
Yeah, good. Felix, do you want to explain something about you coming up this morning on your bike?
Oh yeah, Jesus God, So we had a meeting today. I had to open straight stuff actually, and so I was from 11, and then I went on until I think a little bit before 12, almost an hour. And so I had that. And we were going to do this at 1, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get out of here from town, so I'll say 2, be fine. Get the bus home. And I'm like, great, cool. There's no like bus that goes kind of directly here, so I was like, you know, I'll pick up my bike. I forgot it was crazy fucking windy, and I just it's like 40 kilometer winds out there. It's absolutely mental, and the whole way here, it's all like what is it? They're all southwesterly winds. This is southwest of where I'm living, so it's just winds against me the whole way. I'm cycling all the way along the canal. Like I found out just as I was leaving my house, the back tire on my bike is like well deflated. So I'm just like, oh my God, and I was about 10 minutes late for getting here, and I was just like, Jesus, I'm worse.
Right, yeah, so sorry about that, we had to cut again. People are used to it by now, whoever's watching the podcast, that usually happens every podcast. But yeah, so you were saying that you were travelling up.
Yeah, so I was coming from, so I live in Ballyfermot, and I was like, oh cool, well it says it'll take me about half an hour if I cycle and get a bus, or it says it'll take 25 minutes if I'm just cycling. So I was like, might as well just cycle, save a bit of money. Didn't realise there were like 40 kilometers an hour winds going. So
I was going the other way.
It was my way home, absolute breeze. Like the windsuit have to work for me. Yeah. But on the way here, and I didn't realize as I got out of my house that my back wheel is like only half full of air. And because I went and got more like firewood last night, and I had it on the back of the bike. Must have deflated the tire a little bit or something. Just pushed the air out because of the weight. And I'm there, I was cycling along the canal, and like idyllic, lovely view, little ducks, the river's really high because it's been raining, but I was like, you know, you got people who are walking the other direction, they're like, oh yeah, and I'm like,
oh jeez, he has a problem with something.
Like, are you on TikTok at all?
I tried it.
Oh, you tried it?
I tried TikTok.
I'm addicted to TikTok. I feel like I'm doing the Steve Buscemi, like, what's up fellow kid? There's a meme on that where it's this song from it's a song from like Ratatouille. It's called Le Festin, and it's like and it's intercut with Nicki Minaj's Roman Holiday. It's like and I felt like that. I felt like all the people walking past me were like and I was like
that's a brilliant joke in itself.
Yeah, that's why I need to start getting on TikTok, because I feel like that's a TikTok joke.
That's like there you can literally put into a joke on stage.
Yeah.
Like I know that when people get together like this and when someone's telling a joke or trying to be funny, people kind of go, to make a laugh. If I got on the truth, if I didn't find it funny, I wouldn't laugh.
Oh yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I could just that was funny. So I do appreciate you coming up and them fecking gusts of winds, the bloody rain, everything and all, and coming up to doing the podcast. And it I'm doing this myself. I have to pay money to do this, to rent this place, you get me? Yeah. So I do appreciate that you're coming up and doing this and stuff like that. I really appreciate it for the likes of that. Guys, so I'm going to end this podcast right now, probably live on Facebook as well. Thanks for watching, if anybody was watching or something like that as well. We will be back next week with another guest. I don't know who, but we'll find someone in time. I said on
the door, someone will blow.
Yeah, literally open the door and he will blow in. So guys, thanks for watching episode 31 of the All Right Podcast. Felix, thanks very much for
coming on. For having me on again.
Guys, remember, this is episode 31 of the All Right Podcast. Remember, it's not the best podcast, but it's not the worst podcast. It's just an All Right Podcast. Stephen, thanks. Felix. No, I was doing so well. Felix, thanks for coming on.
I'll take off a mask. I got Stephen the whole time.
Thanks for coming on, man. And, do you want to plug anything before we go?
I'll put my own podcast. As I mentioned it earlier, it's called Not Trans Movies. And check out Token Straight as well. Not Trans Movies. We're at Not Trans Movies on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on all the podcast things. Just search Not Trans Movies. Our next episode is going up hopefully today, and that's going to be on. Well, it'll be a week ago when this comes out.
A week ago.
It's about a week ago, and that's on. It's myself and my friend talking about The Greatest Showman. We've got an episode on the Muppets movie from 2011 as well, and Infinity Train, which is an animated show, and She's the Man as well. We've got a few more episodes coming soon as well. We've got one on This Is Doubtfire. We've got one on Shrek. Which is a fun one. That stuff's been recorded for about a year. Because we started it with a friend of mine, and then he moved up to the north to do a master's, and I was like, but I want to get this back and go. So he's maybe coming back, we'll see. But that's Not Trans Movies, and check out Open Straight. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. I run the Twitter for that, so I'm memeing all over the world. I try to do that, and then I'm on Twitter as well. I'm Felixer of Life 28 on Twitter. Come join that. I shit post and meme and talk about gay stuff.
Fair enough. Right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll chat to you next week. Perfect. Great.